what the problem with $1,000 DACs is? They're $1,000. So I just finished. Today is DAC day. Today, Zeos has been using DACs for weeks on little tasks here, little tasks there. But today was the whole day of sit down and just listen to 3 DACs. And I went in descending price order because I had a feeling. I didn't know 100%. I didn't know 100% how I'd feel at the end of the day, at the end of this magical day. But that feeling, it came true. You see, we started with the LKS, $1,500, crazy shit going on there. All those weird levels of just tweaking of math. Fucking please, no PTSD. Went to the Gustard, quality DAC. Heavy as shit, didn't need to be. But I mean, you know, that's what $1,000 DACs do. Then we ended here. This is where my day ends. Now, the Rebel amp, everyone knows I love the Rebel amp. Like, right, we talk about that. And I was like, I wanted to get my R2R DAC. That's another DAC that I really like. It's price to performance. Zeos fucking price to performance. So when someone asks me, what's a good DAC under $500? I have a couple lined up. The Geshelli Lab is $170 for balanced with like a couple adjustments of voltage bias. SU8 remote control, or one of the new M300s, like the new SMSL M300s, things like that. They're out there. SDAC, Grace SDAC. But this boy right here, and we'll talk about those in a second. This is my new go-to. It's $300. You know what $300 is? Not $1,000. But I am hard pressed to find flaw. And if you were to find flaw, well, there's a little door in the bottom that you fix flaw. So there you go. This is it. This is Aune's X8 Magic DAC. Now, Aune. I'm going to just say every pronunciation that I've been told I'm wrong. And like, I say Aune. It's A-U-N-E. People say it's On, which is spelled O-N for anyone who's actually keeping score here. But however the fuck you pronounce it, you see that? My X1S? That's never come off my desk since I got it. That was sent to me by the company. And I was just enamored by it. It was like the first combo DAC amp that I was like, wow, this is great. And then I got the X7S, which was the first Class A balanced amp. And that stayed there too. And then they've upgraded this one now to 10th anniversary. And now they've got a whole new line of things. And this son of a bitch here, this has what I can only refer to, because if you've watched any of my videos, you know I call it the magic. And that's when everyone's wallet should be fucking scared. Because when something like stands out, it isn't just like, well, this is well engineered, and they executed it, and it costs exactly how it sounds. It's great. That's it. So everyone will go. But no, when the magic happens, shut the video off. We're all locked up in quarantine. You got nothing better to do than to watch this video and realize you need to spend $300 in this DAC right now. Right now, Zeos said it. Zeos said I need to buy that and buy a bursting op amp, and they're all going to be great. So, what makes this DAC different and special, and why should I bother? Zeos, tell me why. So it's $300. Right? That's 3,300 Rankins. It's not terrible, not great, but not terrible. It uses FPGA, which sounds like some sort of golfing association. The Florida Palms Golfing Association. It's not that. What it actually stands for is, and I hope I left the fucking thing open for it. I don't know. It's got to do, it's like a fully programmable something. I don't care. Stop. Chord, you know Chord, the company that makes like $3,000 DACs and $5,000 DACs and $23,000 DACs. They use FPGA. And what I can figure out, because I'm not an engineer. Look, I'm not. I have ears and I have anime backgrounds, and that's about the length of my fucking when I have to fill out what's the thing when you're getting a job? Oh God, my brain. When I have to fill one of those out, resume, I'm going to literally say, I talk to myself and look at anime butts. That's it. That's what goes on there. So when people are talking in depth about the field programmable, I'm not even going to, something A, but that's definitely field programmable. The best I can figure it out, the best people have explained it to me, is unlike a normal DAC, which just like has a Sabre chip, which just does have an ESS 9038Q2M, and I'm not sure what that's actually performing in this, but imagine like programming a processor to handle audio. But no one makes that. No, like Texas Instrument doesn't make that. And fucking like big company, Sabre doesn't make that. So you have to go and you have to program a chip with thousands and thousands of lines of code to process audio all on your own. And Aune has done that here. This is an FPGA DAC. Not just a DAC that has FPGA chips in it that run down the line like, what's it called, uses Audio God. This has processing in it that normal DACs don't have processing. And I know what you're saying, processing is bad, Zeos. You don't want that. You don't want it when it's fucking with things. But if you can decode sound, which is literally just all processing, different and better than everyone else, you win. You win the fucking DAC game. You win the DAC game. It's the bonus coin. It makes you really big and really small and no clip through walls. So that's part one of why I'm fucking in love with this DAC. And this is just a DAC. And see us, it's just a DAC. How could you be in love with it? Well, because I have the Rebel amp, I've got the JDS Labs Element 2, which I'm using just as an amp, and I've got the 789, which by the way is on drop now for $300. And we're going to talk about that little trick again. Every time I talk about this amp now, I've got to say it's $300 now. It's not $400 anymore. It's permanently down there. And there's that trick that everyone can use, and this DAC is perfect for it. So, FPGA, Wild World of Sports golf thing. On top of that, this is one of the only DACs I've ever come across that has, excuse the blue tack, swappable op amps. And here's the thing. You see this red tool? This comes with the Aune. You see this little Allen key? This comes with the Aune. You see this pill container that says, what does it say? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then there's an X because it's got 8. They can't make a 7 container. This came with the Aune. And the Aune came with, which one is this? The Aune came with this op amp installed, this gold one. And it says BB, the BB OPA2134PA 882MAY6. That was installed. And with that op amp installed, I hooked it up to Rebel amp, and I knew this was going to be special. But today is the day. Today's the day I find out, how special. So it comes with this pill container and another op amp, which is a JRC 5532D J125A. And I swapped to that, and I went, wow, that sounds creamier. DAC. I'll explain a little bit before I get to the Supreme Sound Burson. Every DAC has an amplifier built into it. And no, I'm not talking about like a combo, like a DAC amp for headphones. You still have to take a digital signal and turn it up to RCA or XLR voltages. You're amplifying it from, board levels of low, little micro voltages. Even if it's turning digital into a voltage in the chipset, it still has to take that small voltage and make it big enough to transmit over RCA, and then it gets to an amplifier and it says, okay, now I'm going to make you big enough to power headphones. So every DAC has an amp. we don't refer to it like that. We don't think about it like that. You think a DAC is just, what's a digital analog converter? Yeah, but the chip usually, and you can have chips that just do the amplification on board, but if you combine everything, you get that Swiss Army knife effect where everything's not quite as quality as if you separated those components and laid them out. So I have done op-amp swaps very few times. Once was the X-Duo XD05. Linked in the description because I fucking love that portable 1 watt per channel DAC amp. It sits there. When I do sound demos, that's what powers the headphones that I'm listening to my sound demos on. And changing the op amp to one of these Bursons, which I got on Massdrop, and I'll see if I can find them elsewhere because I'm not sure if Massdrop has them right now. But it did this thing. The op amp, what an op amp does, what this little fucking chip does, it's an operations instruction manual. It tells, it has 8 pins. I have no idea how it works, but it tells the amplifier structure how to do its job. Again, I'm being very vague because I don't have specific answers. If I ever went to like a severe audiophile, like sit down table, I'd be like, sounds pretty. I like the way sound is. So the best I can describe an op amp is it's a flavor. It's just a slight tweak. It's like when you tune your car. You get into your Honda Civic and it's running the stock tune. But then you fucking flash it with another tune. You're still driving the same Honda Civic. You're still driving with 8 cylinders. You haven't changed the exhaust. You haven't changed the weight distribution. But the tune has made a difference. It's shifting just a little bit earlier. Or the rev limiter just goes a little bit farther. Or the cooling valves, the fucking VTEC kicks in just a little bit sooner, yo. VTEC, yo. That's what an op amp is. An op amp is a fucking tune for your car. So it can change it. It's not changing any of the hardware specifically, but it can change it. And when I rolled from the original op amp to the secondary op amp that it came with, I was like, wow, this is this thing. And then just 25 minutes ago, because that's all I needed, I rolled from the second one to the Burson that I had lying around. And the Burson, which, let me use the tool. Is this off? This needs to be off. That was bad news, bears. That happens, by the way. Don't do that, because those were the Stellias. Don't shut the power off on your fucking Aune X8 Magic DAC with any volumes up. Leave this running all the time, because it just makes that sound of like Mario dying. That's happened once before, and now it's happened twice. Let me pull out this fucking op amp and make sure my Stellias haven't exploded. So here's what this looks like. It's just this little thing with 8 pins. And the instructions, here's the oh God, don't lose anything there. It shows you that if there's a notch, you match the notch. If there's a dot, you match the dot to the notch. Warranty void if op amp is installed improperly, which how the fuck would they know? They'll just void your warranty. And you just take this thing and you see where the dot is. You line it up, there's the notch, and you put it in. You push it down, and then you're supposed to screw the cover back on. Here's the little cover. Now, the problem is that the Burson op amp is way bigger than these other ones. Just way bigger. So I can't screw it down. So instead, I'm just going to take some blue tack, the most useful thing in my library, and I'm just gonna goop that down so it doesn't fall off. And then you could store that and the other op amps and everything you want elsewhere. Boom, 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 boom. Click. So now that I've tuned this to the Burson house sound, because that's basically what it is, then you click it back on, hopefully without any more fucking noises. And let's take these off the table now so we could see if I'm crying in this review. And we are on a USB, which is here, which of course it disappeared because I shut that off. Night Swimming by REM. Okay, good enough. So, here's how this is getting hooked. Here's the outputs. Let's look at the front. Has no power. The only power is that switch, which makes the which you don't want. Never shut this off. It doesn't get that hot. Leave it on. I've never shut it off since I got it. You have 1 button and 7 LEDs. USB optical coaxial, ABCD. ABCD are the digital filters again. And actually, it'll do ABCD, then AB, then BC, then CD, and then ABCD. And you do that by holding it down. We're on D currently. Now we're on AB. Now we're on BC. Now we're on CD. Now we're on A again. Like, I'm going to actually try to hear the differences in those filters, because I feel like if there was ever a setup, ever, in the history of Z reviews to hear it, this is it. That's the highest praise I can fucking give. The wallpaper should indicate how important this is. So the way I've got this worked out, this is what my patronage chat, the $10, if you support me on Patreon or Subscribe Star, you get into the private behind the scenes Telegram chat. Those people are obsessive. I do this as a job. When I'm not doing this, I want to do anything but this. But they are never off. They are on all the time. I highly don't recommend joining that if you want to just be like, I kind of like music. Don't join. Because they OCD it all. There's 180 people that are like me when I'm on, but all the time. So there's never an off time. And they figured out that the limiting factor of the THX 789, you know, the amplifier that is basically like a god amongst all amplifiers? Well, obviously it could be better. So if you max out the volume and you put it on the highest gain, you remove the pot, which is a lower quality pot, from even being involved. It's maximum. So now the volume control, when you turn the volume down, it squeezes it down. And when it does that, it affects the sound. Do you know how I know it affects the sound? Because it actually affects the sound. So what you need to do is turn it all the way up and then control it with the DAC end. Now, it's better if you do it with a balanced input, but I knew you. Okay, so I should explain now, because I have 2 amps hooked up and 2 sets of RCAs coming out of the back of this. Here's the quick run of the back. Here's the power switch that makes that terrible, terrible noise. Don't ever shut it off ever. Don't ever shut it off ever. Pretend that doesn't exist. Fuck. Don't ever power it off here, and don't ever unplug it from the wall. USB, which I am using here. I'm going to start using USB to test DACs now, because everyone's like, ah. And I switch back and forth, optical and USB, because I have optical here. She's optical, blatantly. And this is USB. And there is a slight volume difference. I think USB is a little bit more loud because of just the way it's processing the USB. So it's hard for me to judge if one is better than the other. But I'm just telling you, if you do the AB, one is a little bit more loud. And I can play the same song on both, which is how I did that. Here's your coaxial. One of the things this touts is that it's one of the only DACs on Earth that over coaxial digital can decode to DSD like 128. Like one of the lower DSDs. Like, I don't care about DSD. But the fact that it's FPGA allows it to process coaxial inputs at like DSD levels. So I don't even know how the fuck that works, because how do you output DSD over coaxial in the first place? Am I the crazy one here? And then you have 2 sets of RCA outputs. And I love the fact that they... Well, that was... I do bad. I love the fact that they've labeled audio out and preamp out on both fucking sides of the amp. Get over there. So that whether you're looking at it from the back normally, or like I'm always doing, leaning over the top of it, it fucking says it there. Just that alone is worth $300. Someone knows how people are with things. You know how many times I look at the back of something and I'm like, fuck, to try to see what the hell it is on the bottom under the connectors? Aune, you're one of my favorite companies, and this is why. Because when I look at the RCA from the top, it has the fucking label. I can see L and L and R and R, and I know exactly what it is. One is labeled audio out, and one is labeled preamp out. The audio out is full fucking line out. I'm trying to undo the nightmare of cables that we have going on. Full fucking line out is going to this JDS Labs Element 2. That means that this volume knob in the front doesn't affect it. This is its own... This is its own thing. This does not affect it. The other output is a preamp out. So you would hook, in my mind, the full line out to a headphone amp with the volume knob. You would hook the preamp out, which is controlled by this knob in the front, to powered speakers or power amp or anything else. This 789 with the volume knobs turned all the way up and ignored. Because once you do that, see this has this volume knob, but now these now have this volume knob. Are you ready? That is Nero, Me and You. I'm sure you're going to ask me about all the songs. If you ever ask me about a song, by the way, give me a timestamp at least. And if I don't know, it's because I have like 30,000 songs or 20-something thousand songs. So this is a very, very simple DAC. Simple. It doesn't have a lot of options. It has button press to switch between inputs. Oh, USB. Now I want to be on optical. Now I'm on optical. Now she's playing. And it doesn't kill the USB. The USB DAC is still fine. Sometimes you switch from USB on a fucking device to something else, and it's like, oh, I'm going to kill the USB now. You don't need that. No, this is still playing. It doesn't know that it's not playing. That's it. What are we playing? Pulp Fiction? If Love is a Red Dress. Oh, I love the Pulp Fiction soundtrack, by the way. Oh my god. Oh. So. That's it. Just my reaction to how this DAC exists is all you should fucking need. You don't have to swap the op amp. I knew coming from the box that this was going to be something special. Because Aune has almost never let me down. The only thing that was sort of let down was like the S7 amp, which that was more unfortunate timing because that came out like 1.6 watts balanced, big ol' honking thing. And then like a month later, the THX 789 came out and nothing else fucking mattered. So that's not Aune's fault. They just didn't know what THX was. No one did. This, and by the way, there are screws to put like the lid back on properly if you don't use a crazy giant person op amp. But I'm using it. I'm going to keep using this and I'm just going to blue tack this down just like that. And I'm never going to think about it again. How do I do? I guess you could run it like this if you really felt like it. Oh, God. Yeah, no, I don't care about DACs, usually. The RME ADI2, $1,000 DAC, but I could get behind it because there was so much DSP and so many menus and so much shit to play with. This has 3 inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 filter settings, which I can't hear the difference between. But the op amp swap and the FPGA, that might as well fucking be the biggest. Those are like the biggest fuck you bullet points that have ever existed on a DAC. Because FPGA, you know, I tried to find the definition of it or how it could benefit. I talked to DMS about it. And DMS, you know, him and I do hifiguides.com. We run the forum there. So he's very knowledgeable in this stuff. And he's like, yeah, FPGA is nice if you do it right. Because you could fuck it up real bad and it'll be bad. Now, Chord does it right. But Chord charges you infinite money for that privilege of using their coded FPGA. And Aune doesn't. $300. Here you go. Whether it's doing as much as like a Chord FPGA, I doubt it. But simple isn't the most cheap shit $20 FIO DAC that goes from fiber optic to RCA, a little D3, is still a DAC. It'll still put digital signal in and give you analog outputs and you could listen to it. So it's not like they're going to be full of distortion. All it could be is less than it probably could be. And I'm telling you right this second, this is more than it could be by a fuckload. That's a thing, right? We can measure in metric fuckloads. Imperial fuckloads. I'm in America. I got to represent. An imperial fuckload. Why is this power cord here? Just to make it look more confusing, I think. There. Sorry, I had to fix. I've already got enough going on. Less. Oh, here's the power brick for the Aune. The Aune. And I knew something was special because I've never seen a power brick like this before. Like, look at it. It's got a little green light and it's dimpled. And it's a Meanwell, order number GST18B09P1J. What are you? 9 volt, 2 amp. It's just a weird 9 volt, 2 amp thing. Like, I want to. Now, it's not a balanced DAC, and I should probably talk about that because I have pushed a lot of balanced DACs in this channel. And balanced can be important. A balanced amplifier can be more important. This X7S is a balanced outputting amplifier, but it's only got RCA in the back, so you can't even hook up a balanced DAC to it. So why even bother, Zeos? Because the actual amplifier itself, you design that balanced. That is the last stop before your headphones. When your headphones are here and it's this channel and this channel, you want these wires to go down and be this channel and this channel. So the amplifier you're plugging into has to be this channel and this channel. The source into it, while it can be separated completely, it can still deal with the inputs not fully balanced and give you a balanced output. So I'm trying to just, don't be scared of using the Arist R2R that I had on drop was an amazing DAC, like well above its price range. This same category, although with the op amp swap and I think this is gonna beat it. And I don't know if this is the most accurate DAC that I've ever listened to, or just the best sounding. And take those words to heart, because there's a huge difference. Some people live by the most accurate, the measurements, the most accurate. And then some people are like, well, I just care what sounds the best. And I used to be team 1, team most accurate, because you want the DAC to be straight. And then the amp can do the tweaking. But now I'm running like an Element 2 and a 789. So now in this weird backwards fucking world, which only took about 4 years to get to, the amplifiers are so linear and so straightforward and so accurate that I'm turning to the DAC to color my sound a little bit. And that's why an op amp swap, and that's why my fucking head hurts. Because that doesn't make any sense at all. If I put a very neutral DAC onto a very neutral amp, then all you're left with is headphone, and that's fine. Headphones are the end. But there's something about having the cleanest possible amplification and then special sound coming out of the DAC. Special. Not bad, not inaccurate. I don't even know how to describe it. Flavored. It's like when you kiss somebody and you know exactly what they had for lunch. It's still a great kiss. You just go, chocolate ice cream with sprinkles. I like that. That's what this is. This is a chocolate ice cream with sprinkles kiss. And it's probably one of my favorite DACs I've ever listened to. And that's fucking weird because I didn't ever think I'd get to a point in my life where I'd say that line. This is one of the best DACs I've ever listened to. Your life's going great. Hi-Fi Go is the only company that has this currently. It's not on Amazon. Sometimes Aune stuff shows up, sometimes it doesn't. It's always been miss. Not hit or miss, miss and miss. Think in the 5 years since I've had that Aune X1S, it's been on Amazon for 1 year. And that was hit or miss through the year. It showed up on drop. I think this might show up on drop. I'm going to try to link to every place this comes from. Hi-Fi Go on top, because I know it's there right now. Comes in black or silver. And oh, by the way, the metal, like, listen. Most metal cases are like, this feels like 3000 grit sandpaper. It is just, it's dull in a way that I didn't think I would love. Dull, but it's beautiful. And I could probably do something about closing this op amp door. Golf claps. FPGA golf claps. Thank you, Aune. Or whoever the fuck sent this to me. I think it was Hi-Fi Go, because they're the only ones that have it. It makes sense if it was them. Thank you for sending this out. It will be treasured forever. So now that I've swapped op amps, I'm kind of afraid to put on the Rebel amp because Rebel amp, being a Class A, puts a little bit of Class A funk on it. So now I'm going to go with like an extra hyper smooth DAC with an extra hyper smooth amp. And God knows I might hate it. I might hate it. Or I might just end everything and be living there. Just live in whatever I'm listening to. And then, of course, I've got these headphones, which I claim to like real close and accurate and like detail oriented. So I can put on that Rick and Morty song and it slapped. Fucking slap. I need to end this video because it's too long. YouTube's going to stop recommending my videos if I like 30 minutes each. Every time video talks about a fucking DAC. What else do I got to talk about? Anything else here on the desk? These, the cables. Jerry the cable guy. He's another person making these detachable, like clip-on cables that are really fucking nice. Ooh, look at that. Oh, and these are the world's best cables, the world's best RCAs. Oh, that sticker should be available on my merch store on Teespring. And fuck, like literally fuck. Like not these. I could talk about these. Well, this is a these. This is a this. Fuck. This, and then you got a cool set of tweezers. You could do all sorts of weird sexual things too if you really put your mind to it. For like a one-time use thing, that's great. Anyway, I'm done. This will not be in the yard sale, as you can fucking imagine. In fact, another one might have to come to my door, so I don't know, I'd swap out for a lot of my other DACs. I would just put this in there. Patreon and Subscribestar support this channel. When you hear me breathing heavily, it's because I ate food that was purchased and paid rent that was paid for by the people who support this channel. If you want something reviewed, join the Patreon or Subscribestar and suggest it to me. I take supporters' suggestions to heart, like seriously. If you want any questions answered, you can ask them on either Subscribestar or Patreon. And I will get back to you hopefully within a week. Although in Corona times, it's probably like less than a week or more than a week, depending on how I'm feeling. See these reviews early, which can be great, because guess what? Hi-Fi Go is probably going to have like 22 of these, and I have 1,000 patrons. How many that are watching this video right now, or how many that were watched a week ago when they were watching it on Patreon, do you think bought one? It's more than 25. That's called the Zeos effect. So see these reviews early, ask me any questions you want on platform, and enter the yard sales. If you don't know what the yard sales are, when I get headphones or I buy headphones or someone donates to the channel, like here, I don't need this anymore. I put them in the yard sale. They go in the yard sale. From the 1st to the 10th of every month, I sell things that I don't fucking need. Someone sends me $500 set of IMs. I'm like, this is great. Or I review them and they're bullshit. And I don't lie about it. They just are whatever they are. And then you can have them in the yard sale. I don't need them. I don't need piles of equipment I'm not going to use. So from the 1st to the 10th, name your own price. I ship free to US, half shipping international. That you'll see a video come up on my channel around the 1st. Sometimes it's the 1st or the 2nd. It goes to the 10th. If you want to go into that high-end, behind the scenes, fancy pants, private Telegram channel, that's the $10 tiers on either Subscribestar or Patreon. There are tiers above that, which will be used for hardware swaps in the future, where instead of like selling something in a yard sale, I'm going to gather up a group of things that maybe people want to try, and we're going to send from one person to the next person to the next person, and the people in those higher tiers will be the ones that get shipped to if they want it. I have to figure out how I'm doing like Europe though, because it can't just be like, oh, Cincinnati, oh, Berlin, oh, Ohio again. Like that's inefficient. But with high enough tiers, I could ship to anywhere. So that's coming up in the higher tiers. Check out Hi-Fi Guides. There is a section on DACs. I'm going to make sure this has a nice post there. Check out the Hi-Fi Guides forum, which should have a big, long discussion on FPGA. FPGA, Face Punch Georgia Anniversary. Something. You guys can think of funny FPGA acronyms, since I couldn't think of the actual one other than Field Programmable. Gate Array? Is it Field Programmable Gate Array? Gate Array. Is that what it is? I might be right. Anyway, you could think of funny FPGA analogies. Thank you for stopping by. Enjoy that wallpaper. It is available in the description. You can crop it out. It is a 21:9 or a 9:21, but feel free to put it on your phone and just crop it out to whatever your phone is and represent Z reviews. All wallpapers, by the way, are available to all substars and patrons in a folder, and you can look up the original artists using websites like Sauce Now or IQDB and support those artists directly. And I think I'm done here. because I need to go back to listening to music on either one of these headphones and either one of these amps on this fucking DAC. Booyah.